Ayy, look, yeah, ayy. I'm in the lab like Dexter, brand new batch he tested. I'm with all the extras, don't try and bitch, I'm pressure. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers.
Jump right into it, man. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list off a group of quarterbacks. You guys will tell me whether or not they should be released, given one more year, or a contract extension. And the first quarterback on my list is Abdi's quarterback, Jordan Love.
Oh, bro, give that man another year, bro. Either way, he's under contract till next year, so might as well again just give him another year. But I feel like he's given himself more than enough time. He's given himself an extension. These last 3 weeks, he went to play the Chargers, then played the Lions, and then he played the Chiefs. I think, he solidified himself. Sitting on 22 touchdowns. I think he's finishing out the year very, very strong. So, give my boy another year, man.
He's playing with the youngest receiver core and youngest tight end core, and he's cooking up. I think he deserves. He's going to be on the Packers for a while. So give him a nice contract,
So you're going contract extension?
Give him a contract extension.
I don't mind getting contract extension. He's just under contract till next year anyways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, he deserves it, though. I feel like, this year coming in, you start off kind of good, and then you get into that slow patch. And these last 5 games for him have just been phenomenal. He's been directing this offense left and right. And kudos to these young receivers. They've been stepping up, especially Christian Watson. I feel like he's been getting into the flow thing. So good to see him connecting with this young quarterback.
It's not even about him just being under contract for one more year.
I would give him a contract extension.
No, would you give him an opportunity to play out that last year of his contract, or go into a different direction and draft a quarterback and just have him get thrown into the fire?
Let him play out that contract.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give Jordan Love one more year. I think he's been. If you asked me this 3 weeks ago before he won that game against the Chargers and started ripping off these last couple of wins, would have been a different answer. But I think these last 3 weeks he's been.
If you look at the Packers' losses and how close the losses been to a couple of these teams, man.
Fucking Falcons game is so stupid, bro. We were up 14 going to the fourth, bro.
Raiders game.
Stupid shit like that, man.
That Steelers game was pretty close too, 23-19. I think he threw a pick in the end of that game.
In the end of the game, bro. Like little games like that.
So we'll go ahead and give him one more year. The next quarterback on my list, Baker Mayfield.
So what are the options for this?
So we got either you cut him, give him one more year, or give him a contract extension.
Shit, if I give him another year, is he starting?
Yeah, he's your starting quarterback going into next year. I'm
cutting him, man. You got, I think he's done decently as a bridge quarterback, but, you got to reach into this draft and get a quarterback, and, this quarterback class is pretty deep, so you might have a chance to snag some sort of quarterback, and I feel like you got to take your opportunity where you can. He's done his job as a bridge quarterback, but I'd cut him.
They're sitting right now at a top 10. I think they have a top 10 pick right now. I'm definitely cutting him. The way that the season's probably going to end for them, I don't think they make playoffs. Mike Evans is probably going to walk, and it's time to rebuild for Tampa. You gotta invest in a quarterback. You can't walk into the next season with Baker Mayfield and act like, hey, we're going to be a contending team. You're going to be middle of a pack team. He's a bridge quarterback, and you want to utilize your draft picks. You don't want to sit at 12, 13, 14 pick all multiple years in a row, not getting a young quarterback in the draft. So I feel like this year there's a lot of good young quarterbacks in the draft. They got that top 10 pick, man. Go out and get a quarterback. Got to cut the boy.
I'm gonna go ahead and give him one more year. I think he's done a phenomenal job.
I do already know this guy's
it's a Baker Mayfield fan. You know how much we can do, bro.
Immediately.
This guy was getting tossed from team to team last season, and now he's found a decent home.
Rightfully so. What is a decent?
He's been playing. He's been playing pretty solid though.
5-6.
They're 5-7 right now, and competing still in a division that's one of the worst divisions in football. So there's still an opportunity. What the Falcons have a record of 6-6, so they're one game out from winning the division. The Panthers are already out, and the Saints are on a good team.
Barring the Panthers need a new quarterback. Every one of those teams but the Panthers need a quarterback.
Baker Mayfield's been pretty pretty good this year.
He's not a quarterback.
Pretty serviceable, I should say.
Mike Evans walk, if he does walk, right? What do you got? Tell me. You're going into the next season with Baker Mayfield and Chris Godwin. Well, what's that going to do for you?
Probably go into the draft.
Why
and get
give him a
receiver.
year though? I'm confused. Why give him a year?
Why even give him a year? Like, what's the
'Cause
point?
I think he's done a pretty decent job on this.
But like,
Big
what is
Buccaneers
your
team.
aim with him? Like, what are you trying to attempt to get at? He's obviously
just
not
trying
a
to-
franchise. He's not a franchise
Because you
quarterback.
kind of speed up that whole rebuilding process if you're able to, turn Baker Mayfield into better than what he is right now.
No,
And so
you like that's been done and tried at a different organization. Like that's not your job in bringing him here. Like you need to go out and actually rebuild. You have good veteran presence in the locker room and everything. Cool, that's great and all, but now it's time to actually head in a direction where you need to start rebuilding it. You don't need Baker Mayfield at the front of that.
I think the players on the team are more likely to continue playing on this Buccaneers team with Baker Mayfield under
They're
center.
not trying to.
in
They're not
comparison
trying to
to a
quote
rookie.
unquote lose. They're not trying to quote unquote lose or rebuild. Players hate the idea of a rebuild.
Exactly. I don't even think Mike Evans has a problem with Baker Mayfield. I mean, he just hit his 10th career 1K season in a row with Baker
We've seen
Mayfield.
Mike Evans play with the bummest quarterbacks ever. Come on, man. As long as that guy gets paid, I think that's the only thing that really matters. I just don't think they should give him a year. Like that's just, cool. He's done his job, like bridge quarterback. That's cute and all, but he's not a franchise quarterback. Guy's like 27, man. 28. We're past that.
Yeah, fair enough. The next quarterback on my list, Kenny Pickett.
Yo, release that brother, man. I'm dead ass. Release that guy. Like people are gonna say, well, it's Matt Canada's offense. Like, no, this guy, like going back to his days at Pitt, like this guy it's not nothing about a franchise quarterback. Like legitimately only went that high because that quarterback class was so terrible. He had to get picked at some point. Like, and lined up that he went to Pitt. Like this guy's just like, I don't necessarily see it with him. It's not just a product of Matt Canada's awful offensive play calling, even though he's gone. I just don't see it necessarily the talent level with Kenny Pickett. I feel like the Steelers keep going through this cycle of they start off the season 1-4, and then they string together like 3 wins, and then they finish out the year strong, go 9-8. Fans get a little hope. Same cycle every single year. Like you need to at some point get yourself like a franchise quarterback after Big Ben, and Kenny Pickett is not the answer.
I don't think Kenny Pickett's the answer either. I'll give him one more year, just because they made the playoffs last year. He was pretty clutch towards the end of the season. He was okay, but
they made the playoffs last year.
Did they make the playoffs last year, or they missed it?
I think they missed it, but they finished the season above 500.
They ended the season like 6-1 last year. I know that they ended on a little hot streak, but for me, I still got to judge him off a little more. I feel like he's been thrown into a situation that was pretty bad, especially with how the O line is, how the receiver core is. I feel like they're missing a lot of pieces, but I don't think he's a good quarterback either. I feel like in the right system he can be. I don't think the Steelers is the right system, but cut his ass. Yeah, cut his ass. I'm sorry, cut his ass.
Yeah, I believe that I'm going release. They should release Kenny Pickett. There's nothing that writes a franchise quarterback, for Kenny Pickett. There's nothing that he's shown me so far, that can sit here and confidently say that he should be the Steelers quarterback moving forward. The Steelers are able to compete each and every year. That's because Mike Tomlin and this defense is great still. But with all these playmakers they got on this team, I think another quarterback could do a way better job. I don't think that Kenny Pickett. I honestly don't know how he ended up getting drafted. Just looking at it, but at the end of the day, when you look at the Jets, Zach Wilson ended up getting drafted. So, sometimes people get lucky, but there's nothing on tape that shows me, that Kenny Pickett can be a serviceable quarterback in this league. So, I'm going release. The next quarterback that we have on this list, Derek Carr.
What's the record?
You already know my
5-7.
And do they have, what's their pick at right now? Do you know?
Probably somewhere in like the top. I should probably say like what, top 12?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like the only reason why I'm gonna say give him 1 year is literally just because they gave this guy just a contract right now. Like you have there's just no point. You have to take the L on that, and hope you lose out the rest of the year and you can pick up some sort of talent. But this is this type of quarterback class where you would have went for a quarterback, but at this point you have to just eat your L and pay, and finish out the contract with this guy. I give him one more year. I don't think he's necessarily done his job with this team. Like I feel like Jameis Winston was more serviceable for the wide receivers. I feel like that's important to guys like Chris Olave. You have Michael Thomas taking shots every single day on Twitter about Derek Carr. Like, he just isn't necessarily the quarterback that they needed. But I would just give him another year because the fucking contract that you gave him.
They have the 9th pick right now. Does that change your answer?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You could still go with a franchise quarterback, but like you look so stupid paying someone and then drafting a quarterback. Like, it's the dumbest thing that you could have done. But I would go with. Damn, that changes the 9th pick though.
9th pick, man. They can get somebody good with that 9th pick. But then you think about it this way though, because Derek Carr's contract is not team friendly at all. There's absolutely no out in this contract, and he's guaranteed a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm giving him another year. You have to.
So they might just be forced to give him another year.
You have to eat your L on that. It's not like a team friendly contract that you could get out of easily. You handed him it for a reason, so give him another year.
If we're just talking football terms and what's good for the team, cut him. Cut him. He's a horrible quarterback. I promise you, he's a horrible, horrible quarterback. Doesn't matter who he has on the field. You can have prime Calvin Johnson. You can have prime Randy Moss. You can have prime Antonio Brown. He's still not getting the ball. Just because this contract is so nasty, you're gonna have to keep it for another year. But I mean, try to still draft a quarterback. It doesn't hurt. Just have him right there as a secondary quarterback and just wait. And if Carr fails again or gets hurt again, you have your rookie quarterback and you just throw him to the fire. You don't have to wait. I feel like this quarterback class, like I said before, there's a lot of great quarterbacks in this class, and I think you get a great one at the 9th pick. So for me, it's keep him for this 1 year because of the contract. And still draft the quarterback, but after that, he should be gone.
I'm going release on this one. I just feel like even though the Saints salary cap situation is terrible, you just got to eat the contract on this one and suffer the consequences of your own actions. You went out there in free agency and signed Derek Carr thinking that he was going to be the guy next up after all the quarterbacks that the Saints went through these past couple of years since Drew Brees, but it's not looking like it. And every time we see Jameis Winston on the field, we get a different type of experience in comparison to Derek Carr. So, I'm going to go release. You just got to move on, take the L on that one, because you never know what type of team you might have. Because I don't even think Alvin Kamara might be on this team next year. Michael Thomas isn't any good anymore. So you got to do what's best for guys like Chris Olave. And Chris Olave is another guy that's frustrated with Derek Carr's play, but being the guy that he is, he's not going to come out like Michael Thomas and be frustrated and voices frustrations through social media and things of that nature. Then the next guy we have on this list, Daniel Jones.
It's a team friendly deal that they kind of can get out of, but it would have to be, I think, after next year. Like, I would give him another year. The Giants kind of screwed themselves out of the Caleb race, picking up some wins, here and there. And, Tommy DeVito got them in positions that they ended up winning. And like that, especially that game against the Commanders, basically put them out of the race for Caleb. So I would give him another year. It's a team-friendly contract. If you end up trying to get a higher pick, you can attempt to get a Drake May or attempt to get a quarterback of that caliber. But, they may be out of the race for that as well. So I would just give him another year.
I think you give him another year. I don't, based off this year, I feel like there's a lot of problems with this team as well. Injuries, no receivers, no line. You give this guy no options whatsoever. It's absolutely not fair. This guy, I think it was 1 week against the Cowboys. It was like 12 sacks they gave up, or like 8 sacks they gave up, and then they play Seattle. They gave up 12 sacks. And it's like he has no type of protection or anything. I feel like you got to, get him situated like you had him the year before, where he carried you guys into the playoffs. He had that great year, and I think he's on a friendly contract as well. So I'll keep him for another year. If it goes the same way again, where it's nasty turnaround where he's having a lot of turnovers again, and they're not moving the ball on offense, maybe you look at getting another quarterback or drafting another quarterback. I'll give him one more year. I feel like the Giants, they need to get an elite receiver. They need to get somebody in free agency, or they need to get somebody elite in the draft. They're sitting in a position where they have a whole lot of money. They can get somebody in free agency and they pick up somebody in the draft. So, and they got to kind of revamp that line as well. So we'll see what happens this offseason. But as a Giants team, they have a lot to fix up on. Daniel Jones as well.
I'll go ahead and give him one more year. The next quarterback that we got, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Man, Jimmy G, man. This guy's damn right hilarious, but let me see. Actually, where do the Raiders even have okay, they're sitting at 11th right now. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, it's not like Jimmy G's like costing you a lot. Like, it's not like it's killing your pockets or anything, but this team doesn't necessarily have that sense of direction. And I feel like with the new head coaching and basically new staffing, I feel like they should go in a different direction. I do end up believing Davante Adams will still be on this team even next year. I feel like that they're looking at this guy to be their veteran presence at wide receiver to help whoever that they want to bring in. So I would say release Jimmy G. Go ahead and get yourself a quarterback in the draft, man.
They should have just got a quarterback in the draft last year. I'm pretty sure Ziegler, I'm not too sure if that's his name. He wanted to go get a quarterback. I think he wanted C.J. Stroud. It was either C.J. Stroud or take Bryce Young. If he could get Bryce Young, it was keep Jimmy G. Yeah, the coach opted for Jimmy G. So I felt like, that Jimmy G, it's a whole new coaching staff they got going on over there, and a new regime. I think Jimmy G's out the door. For me, I'll cut him. I'm pretty sure the Raiders probably going to cut him, and they're probably going to move on. But he shouldn't even sign this contract. The Raiders shouldn't even give him this contract at all.
Release him as quickly as possible, as soon as tomorrow. There's no reason for Jimmy G to be on this team. There's nothing that writes Jimmy G as a winner. Obviously that track record that he has on the Niners is nothing. He came over to the Raiders and has brought nothing but a losing environment over there. He's not even the starting quarterback anymore. So, it's time for the Raiders to go in a different direction and get themselves a franchise quarterback. And just move on from Jimmy G. That contract's not going to hurt your salary cap. And, I think it's time. These next four quarterbacks might be a little bit interesting. So the first quarterback that we got, Justin Fields.
So release, give him another year contract extension. I would release him. You're going to have the best pick in the entire draft. You're going to come into this draft having the option to go and get a quarterback who's been labeled a generational talent, who's seen as the number one prospect in years at the quarterback position, a guy in Caleb Williams. And this Justin Fields experiment, it's been going on for about 3 years now. Whether that's a combination of his talent or lack thereof, or, the team context, the situation that he's in, you're going to come into this draft having 2 high picks. You're going to have a very, very high 2 high picks. So honestly, in my opinion, I would literally just go ahead and draft Caleb Williams, and it's time for Justin Fields to find a new team. Like, I trade him, get whatever you can from him, because I feel like this experiment just hasn't worked out for both sides, and I'm not a huge Justin Fields believer, and I feel like this experiment between him and the Bears is just not working anymore. I would go out and get Caleb Williams.
Yeah, for me, I'd probably, the picks that I have coming up in this draft, I'll probably trade Justin Fields, try to, recoup, try to get some more picks for him, find a team that's desperate for a quarterback. I know there's a lot of teams that, could pick up Justin Fields, kind of put him into a system and, make it work. But for the Bears, man, I think they're done with him. They know offensively they really can't do much with him. It's tough for him to get the ball down the field in this, with this offense, and they've seen it. So I feel like they're done. I feel like they're gonna, try to trade him before the draft happens, try to get him off the books, try to get him off the team, and they're gonna go out and get Caleb Williams and probably Marvin Harrison. Stack up that team. They already got DJ Moore. Give Caleb Williams some options. They got Cole Kmet. They're a young team. They got a nice little young defense. So I feel like it's time up for Justin Fields in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm going in a different direction. I'm going contract extension. I think we're beyond giving Justin Fields a little bit more time. I think this past season, this current season we're in, towards the end of last season. I think he's done a good enough job at proving that he's the franchise guy for this team, and especially ever since they got DJ Moore this year, their offense hasn't necessarily been much of an issue. Defensively, they still have a million other problems that they can address in the draft, but I don't think fixing your franchise means going through quarterbacks every 3 years. That's not going to work. If you want to be a successful franchise, if you want to get out of the rebuilding phase and enter the competitive phase and the contending phase, you need to be able to stick with the quarterback that you have if you feel like there's something there. There's something there with Justin Fields. You guys can't sit here and tell me Justin Fields is a bad quarterback. Yes, he had his struggles, but a lot of that could be put on the receiving core that he was given. You can put that on the offensive coordinator and the head coaches that he's been given. He's probably going to end up going through another head coach if he still ends up sticking around up until next year. And so I think the Chicago Bears have found their guy with Justin Fields. Now, where do you go from here as a franchise? You probably want to get another weapon alongside DJ Moore because you need a guy to complement DJ Moore. And then on top of that, you probably get an offensive-minded head coach, and then you try to retool up that defense. At the trade deadline, they did make a trade for Montez Sweat. That was a pretty good addition. But there's going to be a lot more. There's a lot more pieces that are needed on that side of the ball to be able to turn this Bears team around. So I think Justin Fields has done a phenomenal job. Not a phenomenal job, a pretty good job, given the situation that he's been in. So I think
I don't know about that, man. Contract extension is kind of like 1 year maybe, but even then, I don't even agree with
report cards. We giving D+ report cards pat on the back.
Yeah.
He's doing a good job.
I don't know about
if Justin Fields was as bad as you guys are making him out to be, he would have been benched a long time ago. It doesn't even matter who's their backup quarterback. So that it's not Justin Fields playing bad.
The thing is, he's not playing bad enough to where you're saying, oh, you bench him, but he's not playing as good as what you would have expected at a Justin Fields play. I mean, it's been 3 years, and the complaints about Justin Fields have still existed. At some point, we have to accept this is the reality of the situation. Like, this is just what is going on with Justin Fields. Like, especially in this type of draft where you have the opportunity to snag a quarterback like Caleb Williams. I'm sorry, but it's been 3 years with Justin Fields, and I'm not giving you a contract extension and potentially passing up a quarterback who's been labeled as generational, a quarterback who's one of the more talented prospects we've seen in years, just on the whims of hoping that Justin Fields, if we put him in a better situation, might just be way better than we thought. Like, I wouldn't do that as a franchise. Like, I would just call it quits now with Justin Fields. He's going to finish out this season. Whether he improves his trade value or not, we'll end up seeing, and just move on from there, get assets back for him. Take the L on that. It's just not a situation that's worked out for either side. And I don't see personally the same optimistic outlook that people have for Justin Fields. Like, I don't see the same level of talent that other people see for Justin Fields. It's just not the same for him. I do think on a different team, he might just end up being better, but I don't think it's enough where it's going to be like, well, Chicago absolutely whiffed on this and they lost out on an amazing player. Like, nah, I'm getting Caleb Williams 10 times out of 10.
But if you get Caleb Williams, what's going to change? The issues that you're going through right now are still going to be there. Caleb Williams is not.
I mean, he's more talented than Justin Fields. Quarterback. He's more talented than Justin Fields. I believe he's gonna show a lot more of his ability than Justin Fields can. Like, I think he's just a flat out better football player than Justin Fields. As crazy as that sounds for
that's crazy for a guy that hasn't even stepped foot in.
Yes, I think he's gonna step in and just be better than Justin Fields right away. Simple as that. Like, that's how good I believe Caleb Williams is. And then on top of the fact that I think right now they're sitting at 5th for the draft odds, just because Arizona's like 3-10, the next team's 4-8, and then they're 4-8 as well, or something like that. So they're sitting at 5th. If they end up continuing to lose games, they may end up being able to get higher. End up snagging Marvin Harrison. It depends. But, like, they have the opportunity to just head in a different direction from Justin Fields, and I think that's exactly what they need to do.
Why not just trade back with like they did last year? There's a team like the Patriots that could use Caleb Williams, and then
they could use Caleb Williams. They could use Caleb
Williams. Why not? Why not just trade that pick back that they have from the Panthers? Trade back with the Patriots, who are at number 2. I know the Patriots would be interested in Caleb Williams. The Patriots get what they want.
They should be interested in Caleb Williams. They themselves, Chicago, should be interested in Caleb Williams. Not just the Patriots. They themselves need Caleb Williams. That's exactly what they
need. An offense led by Justin Fields and DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison doesn't move you?
No, I need Caleb Williams in there, bro. The quarterback is the needle mover, number one. First of all, that's the number one important thing. The quarterback's the needle mover. You're not getting anywhere with a bad quarterback situation. I'm sorry.
That's a little interesting. Big H, you think Caleb Williams is better than Justin Fields?
100%. I mean, you got to throw the ball down the field, brother, man.
I'm moving. We're moving on. We're moving on, ladies and gentlemen. The next quarterback that we have on this list is Russell Wilson. I can't believe what I'm hearing tonight, man.
Give him another year, man. Like, I feel like you could just build off of this. You know, even if they don't end up making the playoffs, I do think that they have, realized like, maybe there is something still there with Russ. Maybe he's not the same Russ that he was 3-4 years ago. He doesn't have the same mobility. He's not as big of a big play threat as he was back then. But he's still a competent quarterback and he's still able to get things done. Let's just build from here. Let's trade a couple guys that are disgruntled. Move off from Jerry Jeudy. Just hasn't worked out. Retool this team and continue to build it because Sean Payton was brought in to win. He wasn't brought in to rebuild. So I think you give Russell Wilson another year. Just continue on with the contract.
These last 5 games, I think Russ been cooking up. I think he deserves another year. But like the first year, situational wise was tough for him. A lot of with the coaching, the offensive line and defensive line. They're going through a lot of issues. But like this year with Sean Payton coming in, they kind of fixed up. They're fighting. They got 5 wins. But like they're competing. They got a couple easy games on the schedule. And I think he deserves another year. Your mic.
I'll go ahead and give him another year. I think Russell Wilson's done a pretty good job given the start to their season. He's been playing pretty, he's been pretty serviceable since the beginning of the year. He's not really doing too much. It's just kind of playing within the means of the system. And with Sean Payton there, they've really turned around this team. And even though they had a tough loss against the Houston Texans this past week, they still have an opportunity to make the playoffs. So you probably give him one more year, try to retool this roster as best as possible. Maybe next year we could have a different discussion whether or not you still want to keep him around. The next quarterback that we got on this list, we got 2 more left. We got Sam Howell.
I'm not gonna lie, like he's moved me. He's moved me. I'm not gonna lie. I came in as a critic. There's still obviously some things there with him holding onto the ball for very long and taking sacks. But I feel like for what he's brought to this team, I think he's done a fairly good job. Like, I think I'm on board with a contract extension. I think he's shown me enough as a thrower, as a passer. Like sometimes I see him and I see shades of a smaller Josh Allen sometimes.
Hell nah.
I'm telling you, I see a lot with this guy.
You are tripping, brother. You are tripping,
no,
brother.
This guy's
when my receiver comes out saying I'm running 13 miles of cardio and I don't get the ball looked at me.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Listen, let me say this first. I took an L comparing Terry McLaurin and CeeDee Lamb because Terry McLaurin has regressed a lot. Go back to that Cowboys game, Terry McLaurin versus the Cowboys.
Another one we want. There's another one we want.
Go back to Terry McLaurin.
We're getting there. Big. We're starting to get somewhere. We'll get back to that.
Go back to Terry McLaurin versus the Cowboys game. That guy is just he fell off. He just hasn't been.
He fell off now.
No, I'm serious. Terry McLaurin hasn't been as good as he's been. Because we've seen Terry McLaurin be in bad quarterback situations, and he's made the absolute most of it. It just hasn't been there as much for him this year. And I think Sam Howell, when you look at it from he's leading the NFL, I think in air yards, he's passing it as much as anybody, and he's doing a fairly good job in terms of just his passing ability. He's shown me enough. It's not easy coming across like a quote unquote franchise quarterback, but I think he's shown enough there to garner a contract extension. As crazy as that sounds,
I wouldn't say contract extension, but I'll give.
I believe in a contract extension for this guy.
Contract extension is crazy. What's their pick right now? I know they're sitting top 10.
6 or something?
Their pick right now is the 4th pick.
Brother man, cut him. Brother man, cut him. Cut him ASAP.
I mean, it would depend on how much they lose to finish out the year, though.
Yeah, I mean,
they're pretty on paper. They're a pretty decent team. When you look at, they should probably have a win or 2 more.
I don't know. For me, the offense to me is not a good offense. It's a lot of broken plays. It's a lot of Sam Howell on his feet try to make plays, and just, like you said, you think it's Josh Allen, but it's not really Josh Allen. It's his high school twin that we left in high school. We cloned him, but he still hasn't progressed yet. You feel me? Still stuck at that stage 1. But if they do have the 4th pick, though, I gotta cut him. I gotta them. Their issue the last couple of years is always try to find them a franchise quarterback. I always try to find them a quarterback that can fit into a young quarterback that can fit into their system. But every year is a new quarterback they're getting. Every 2 years is a new quarterback. 1 year they have this guy. 1 year they have this guy. So for me, it's settle down. Get you a rookie. You have a top 4 pick, man. Get you one of these nice rookies and just try to see what happens.
I'm gonna go keep him. I'm gonna give him 1 more year. Let's go ahead and give Sam Howell 1 more year. Do I think that the Washington Commanders should absolutely try to go in a full, complete rebuild and move off from everybody, including their head coach? Absolutely. I think the one piece that could probably just remain for 1 more year and stick around for a little longer, would just be Sam Howell, maybe a couple other pieces on their defense. But, like Avi said, it's kind of tough hitting on a franchise quarterback. And like I said before, when speaking about Justin Fields, it doesn't necessarily help if you have to keep going through quarterbacks, every 3 years. So, this is Sam Howell's first true year as a starter for this team, and hasn't necessarily been the greatest, but it hasn't necessarily been the worst. The wins don't necessarily show it. Sitting with a 4-9 record, it's not really nothing too crazy. They have, owning a top 5 pick, but who knows? You could use that pick to help out Sam Howell in this offense. Doesn't help that Scary Terry has taken a step back and he's regressed a little bit. He hasn't been doing his job, but you probably give Sam Howell 1 more year. You probably fire Ron Rivera and then try to see what Eric Bieniemy can cook up. As the offensive coordinator, still maybe potentially the head coach if he gets promoted. So I'll go ahead and give him 1 more year. Now we have the last quarterback on this list, Geno Smith.
Well, how did I know it was going to be Geno? Why did I know it was going to be Geno? I'm not going to lie. Give Geno another year. Like, I feel like I've seen shades of when the offensive line has been healthy, when the team, everybody's available. Like, I feel like I've seen enough from Geno. Like, this Cowboys game showed me a lot. Like, and even if you go back, look at those last 2 plays where they got the ball back. I mean, when the pressure collapsed, like, he didn't even get a chance to make a play. Like, he didn't even get a chance to throw it. Like, especially the last one, Micah Parsons was right in his face automatically. Like, I feel like when this offensive line is at least healthy, it gives me a shot to evaluate how good Geno Smith actually can be. Is his decision making sometimes problematic? Sure. Can he hold the ball a little bit too long? Sure. But I feel like when it comes to just making throws and making plays, Geno Smith is a very, very solid quarterback. So I'm a fan of keeping him another year.
I'm going to give him 1 more year, but at the same time, I think we look into this draft. We look into a quarterback. I feel like there's a lot of young quarterbacks in this draft that we can, come into the system, kind of help us. But we give Geno this 1 year, like I said, when the offensive line is, pretty healthy, and they give him that help, it's good. We finally had our full offensive line back against the Cowboys. We finally got Abe Lucas back and Charles Cross healthy. And Abe Lucas put on a performance. And until they sent that all-out blitz, that last play, Micah Parsons came off the edge. I feel like the line was, they held up. Barring the injuries, with Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker missing the game and stuff like that. I think Geno's still a great quarterback, but I think we look into this draft and we're looking for our future quarterback in this draft as well. I think Geno's time is coming up. I know this is probably after this next year, it's going to be his last year on the contract. I feel like I said multiple times, man. I feel like there's a lot of gems in this draft at quarterback, and I feel like if we grab one, put him under Geno, put him under Pete Carroll with the right toolage, I feel like we could teach him right. Just let him step into that next season when we let Geno go.
You need a quarterback that can beat the Niners. You think you want to continue with Geno Smith?
Yeah, of course.
Nah, I don't know about all that. I'm going release, man. I think it's
wild.
It's not wild, man, because I look at it like this: that if the Seattle Seahawks played in a weaker division where they didn't have to play the best team in the NFL, I think they could get by with Geno Smith for a couple of years. I'd probably go give him another year, but unfortunately, they don't play in a division like that, man. So, and even
if
they
on a
play
team-friendly deal, though, you have them on a
it is team friendly, but the way I'm looking at it, man, is like you got to be able to compete with the top dogs. Regardless, even if they were in a different division, I'd still be saying the same thing. But at the same time, it's like I need to see something against the best teams. That Dallas game was a great showing. Obviously the Dallas Cowboys were red hot. the Seattle Seahawks were coming off a tough loss on Thanksgiving, I believe that was the game before against the Niners where they lost. And they came back and they put out a good offensive outing. But at the end of the day, man, the team that they should be hunting for is a team in their division that they got to see twice a year. Can I be confident in Geno Smith to win a game against this Niners team? Absolutely not. Now, can a rookie quarterback do the same thing? Would I be confident in a rookie quarterback? Absolutely not. Not to begin with. But it's a good stepping stone to moving forward, to becoming a better team. I don't think Geno Smith's going to get any better than what he is right now. And regardless of what he's shown, even in this past game or, going 4 or 5 games back, there's nothing that he's shown me that writes, give him another year. Coming out of last year when he had a great year, he got given this contract. Hasn't really shown much this year. And that's why they're continuing to struggle in this tough gauntlet that they're in. So I think right now, obviously with how team friendly that contract is, you might as well just try to get out of it while you still can and bring in another quarterback and try to move in a different direction. Obviously, this quarterback class is pretty deep, so you can end up with a pretty young stud. So I'm going release, man, and it's not as crazy as it is. You guys make it out to be.
I don't know, man. Releasing a guy that's on a team friendly deal, on top of the fact that he hasn't. He's shown the capability of being able to run this offense and be pretty productive in it. I don't see the appeal of releasing him at all. I just don't see it. We
all watched that Niners game. How well was that offense ran? They didn't. You guys did. The Seattle Seahawks didn't score a single touchdown that game.
But at the same time, we seen what it looked like against the Cowboys with a healthy offensive line. We've seen the potential of how good this team can be. You shouldn't base your sole decisions on the 49ers are this good. Well, the 49ers, irregardless of whether someone had existed, are going to be good. They're going to be there. But at the same time, it's just building off what you already have. There's no guarantee that you're going to hit on a quarterback coming up in this draft, especially where the Seahawks are. You're not going to land a Caleb, or you're not going to land a Drake May. You might not even land at Michael Penix because of where he is, projected. Who knows if they even can land a Jaden Daniels? He might go, towards the end of the first round, but he could go higher than that. So I just don't see the appeal of just cutting up, saying, oh well, we're done with Geno. When he's shown he can be productive in the system, especially last year, we have a full sample size of that. I just can't.
No, he hasn't. Coming out of last year, there's a whole different conversation, and now it's Geno Smith falling back down to earth, man. That's my issue. That's just my whole issue with this, man. But I'm going to go release on that one. Seattle should probably look in a different direction and try to get a new quarterback. But we can agree to disagree on that.
Record a new hit, then we making us a film. Wouldn't sign a deal if I got a couple mil. Been in the lab, now they throwing out deals. Me and now Lake, now that's overkill.